Well, my friends, incredible as it seems, we actually did it. And what did we do? I will get to that in a minute. For now, welcome to the first Snoring Bulldog podcast in many, many moons. I tried to go with the Snoring Kraken podcast. It just wasn't the same, and you can't change the name on Spotify and Anchor and all that stuff. So for now, the SBP, Snoring Bulldog podcast, is this morning apparently is a Squawking Birdie podcast. Mr. Beebe will just not stop putting his 2 cents in. Mr. Beebe is my little baby cockatiel who's just a ton of fun and very animated and right now very noisy. And not in a pretty way. He usually is singing. Nobody likes the squawks and squeaks, young man. So, soon it will again be called the Snoring Bulldog podcast, in that Mr. Beebe and I are going to start adopting English bulldogs who are at the end of their lives that nobody wants. They're at the rescue, and they need some love and a place to live out their golden years and to be helped to transition over the Rainbow Bridge. Part of the reason I chose my little slice of heaven where I now live is because they accepted animals. If they'd known about Mr. Beebe, they may have thought twice. Yes, I'm talking to you. People keep asking me what I think of my new place, and does it feel like home? It feels better than home, if there's such a thing. I never thought I'd think anything could feel better than home. But the way I've described it to people is, when I used to have a little theater company and we needed a script, my assistant at the time would ship me off to San Francisco, a place I love, and she would tell me I couldn't come home until there was a script. So while I was up there, I would stay somewhere really pretty, a beloved bed and breakfast, and I'd hang out in the beautiful 4-poster bed with chintz, everything, and a fireplace and goose down everything, and just write my little tail off trying to write a script. So I'd work super hard. But then when I took breaks, I did amazing things that were my favorite things to do in San Francisco. I went to the fanciest places for tea because I like fancy places for tea, usually hotels. My place was in Nob Hill, or at the base of Nob Hill, so I would just walk up to the Fairmont or wherever, and then when I needed to take dinner breaks, I'd go to the fanciest prix ridiculous 8-course restaurants just because I like that sort of stuff. So here I am in one of my favorite places in the world, San Francisco, doing some of my favorite stuff, having a ball, and in beautiful atmosphere, being the place I was staying, the bed and breakfast, but working so hard. And that's what it feels like here. Every minute I feel like I am on a work vacation, meaning I'm expected to get a ton of stuff done, but I get to be in paradise. A couple days ago, I posted on my little Facebook page a quick video with very loud horn honking, almost as loud as Mr. Beebe, a little video of the bay where I used to swim and will start swimming again. And then I panned around, and right behind it is the library. There's a library across the street from the bay. I think that's pretty darn cool. I checked it out for our project called Novel Ninjas for kids next summer, that a little 6 weeks program where they can write a short story and then we'll publish it in an anthology. That's going to be part of what our nonprofit does. I'll talk about our nonprofit in a minute. I'm so proud of all of them, the board that is. But for now, we'll talk about what's happened most recently. I would like to mention that it's foggy here. There have been foghorns, so you may hear that as well. I adore the fog, so I am happy. But people who want summer weather must be not happy at all. We first started out with May gray, then we went into traditional June gloom, and now we have what I call July. Why? Because 3 months in a row of the overcast mornings, though I love them, is not what I would call summer and what most people want, especially those who want to get out in the fun summer sun. The thing I can't believe we did is the pirate picnic that we had yesterday. And I cannot thank enough everybody who helped make it happen, from those who tirelessly worked behind the scenes, did setup, cleanup, came to support it, the reenactors, the performers, you name it. And while Shared Treasure Hunt, which is what the pirate picnic kicked off, Shared Treasure Hunt doesn't officially start till tomorrow, our first ever inaugural Saturday pre-launch party was just a lovely affair, and can't thank everyone enough. Today, I get to do something I've wanted to do for years and years and years. A bit of what I might call beneficent mischief. I've always wanted to do something that involved inviting random strangers to an event. And today, I get to do it. I've got 3 oversized tissue paper flowers, in the middle of which I've affixed a pin with our Omni logo, They're on a long stem, and attached to it is an envelope that says, "Psst, to the random stranger who picks this up, this invitation is for you. Yes, you." So I'm going to take these 3 big flowers and go to 3 different cities and hang out in areas where I think their usual clientele might be interested in something like this and going to our tea. I'm going to place one of these on the ground and hang out nearby and see who picks it up. It says inside that if you're not interested, please put it back down and leave it for the next person. I can't show you the inside of the invitation because it's got the QR code to the secret party. I shouldn't say secret party. The party's not a secret, but it's only open to our patrons and then the 3 individuals who pick up this flower and take us up on the offer to come. Next up, I'll be working feverishly on the patron appreciation party. We've got between 60 and 70 people going, and I'm making the sandwiches by myself, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but where do you store the stuff? How do you cart the stuff? A couple people offered to come and help, which is so sweet, but I realized my little place is literally too little. So I will be working on that. I've got a couple of events to go to in July, which is a little tricky because I've got no time. This is turning out to be the busiest month of my life. That isn't bad, but it's definitely requiring some scheduling. After the patron appreciation party at the end of July, we immediately launch into my secret society project. I'm doing a Kickstarter for the first time, and I am really, really excited. You'll hear more about the secret society project at the actual patron appreciation party, because the patrons, of course, get first access, early info, first dibs, all that kind of stuff. I will tell you, in addition to that, I'm looking for a venue for October 8th, preferably a Victorian house, to do a party set in 1881. If anybody has any leads, I'd be very grateful. Taking into account if we would be sitting outdoors, how hot will it be in October, specifically October 8th? That will be a tea. Our little magazine issue for this year from Out of the Shadows has had to be postponed. Folks are so busy, we only had 4 people come through with what they were planning on doing, and that isn't enough to do a magazine. And quite frankly, I am way too busy right now. I don't know how I was going to get it done. So I've redone our schedule going forward, and I think it's going to be better, even though we won't have a magazine issue this year. From here on out, we will have 3 group writing opportunities per year. The magazine will come out in March each year, which means I'll start putting calls for content out right after the first of the year. 4 months later, we'll have the cookbook of the year. And then 4 months after that will be our usual anthology, which is in November, which is what we're used to with that. What else will happen every November is going to be called OmniFet. It was originally OmniFest, but we're not even close to festival size. We're barely FET, as in party size. Our first one will be this year, November 13th. You'll be hearing lots about it over the ensuing months, with opportunities for artists to have little vendor tables. So if you make stuff, if you have an Etsy shop, if you're a musician, whatever it is, please come and find some new fans. We'll have authors there who have been published by eGads Hill Press with the works we've published for them and anthologies. We'll have mixed media art by Sandy Thompson, who has done art to support several Omni projects. There's a bluegrass group that's supposedly coming to do a jam. We're hoping to get some actors there, some other singers. So OmniFet is going to be another project that is near and dear to my heart, because it will support not just the arts, but specific artists. Our book that will launch that same day at a tea an hour ahead of time. This is all going to happen at Pamela's Tea Room, by the way. The anthology launch tea will take place at 11, and then from noon to 3 behind the tea room in the enclosed arcade is where we'll have the little arts fair. The theme of this year's anthology is fairy tales. So if you have an original or tweaked fairy tale, meaning you could repurpose an existing fairy tale and put your own twist on it, we will be putting out a call for content on that soon, and the launch party will again be November 13th. So if you know of any artists, anybody who makes stuff with an Etsy shop that's local in Southern California and wants to be part of OmniFet, we don't charge you for a table. We don't take a percentage of your sales. We don't ask for a cent. We want to promote you. Next up is The Deep with Charles Spratley. It's history, it's storytelling, it's dark magic, and it takes place at the coolest venue imaginable, the Los Angeles Maritime Museum in San Pedro on the Water. I've been asked a couple times, will we be doing more surprise excursions? The answer is yes, but. The but means I will also be adding the option of your finding out in advance what it's going to be and where, if you so choose, so that you can make your decision. The reason being, I kind of painted myself into a corner with the first one we did. I will never find that many related activities that are so close to each other again. So, for example, the first one, we went to Fullerton. When we got off at the station, it gets out at a train museum. So we had docents at the ready at the train museum to give us tours, and then we were picked up by Charles Spratley, and he already had in his back pocket a tour of Fullerton with ghost stories and fun history. So he literally gave us a walking tour to our destination, which was the Springfield Tea House in Fullerton, and we got to have tea and then just walk back on our own to the train station. We won't find that many elements that are that close together again. So I don't want people to feel like the subsequent surprise excursions are either less exciting and they're expecting more and I don't want to disappoint them. Or the other issue is a couple of them are going to take place at night. So we can't take public transportation, or at least I'm opting not to. I just don't think it's wise. You will be driving on your own and you may want to know where the heck you're going before that day. So surprise excursions will have an option to not be surprised. You may have noticed there are a ton of tentative notations on our festivities page for Tea Travelers, our local social group. That's because things keep changing yet again. It's never stopped, actually. It isn't just that COVID went away. First of all, we know that hasn't gone away. But above and beyond that, things with not only supply chain issues, but staffing, as we know, venues feeling that they need to impose a room charge in order for them to be able to make it. Things are still evolving, so we keep having to postpone and change things. Aside from the things listed as postponed, here's what is set in stone. Charles's activity on August 27th, the Deep. Our spooky excursion on September 17th, the one that's going to cost you a fortune. I will get back to you with that, patrons. Another event with Charles on October 1st at the Hotel del Coronado. It's right around sunset. Well, it might be a little late, at 6 o'clock. It will be the ghost tour with Kate Morgan, the famous ghost of the Hotel del Coronado. The reason we chose 6 is we wanted it to be as late as possible, but for those who are going back by train, the last train leaves San Diego at 9 p.m. So it turns out there's nothing great to do in Coronado in the way of food. So I'm having to go with, well, we'll see what we go with. The gorgeous dining room with the crowns is no longer available as a dining room. It's for special events, so we don't qualify to have a special event that's big enough to rent the room. The 1881 party I mentioned on October 8th, that's set in stone, just need a venue. Omni Fete on November 13th is set in stone. Also, an Alice in Wonderland by a company called Clued Up. It's in Long Beach, and it's a smartphone scavenger hunt, so to speak. And I already purchased the tickets to that, and I think I purchased 2 rounds of it, so we'll be able to have 8 people go to that on November 19th. And then our annual Agatha Christie Christmas event at Pamela's. That is set for December 10th. We had Poirot 2 years ago, Miss Marple last year. This year, we're having Tommy and Tuppence. They're going to come out of retirement for a caroling calamity. So that should be fun. Other than that, everything is up in the air because of all the changes. I think that's it for now. I am so thankful, as always, for all of you and for everyone who signed up to come to the Patron Appreciation Party and are volunteering to help out in different ways. And of course, to everyone who made yesterday what I consider to be a success. I thought the pirate picnic was just more fun than a barrel full of monkeys. And especially to those who set up, Diane, Trish, Brad, Cheryl, you guys are just rock stars. Trish dove in at the last minute to help. Our cake maker got COVID and couldn't do the fancy chocolate pirate cake that we wanted. So Trish did just a wonderful job with a flag on top of, a map on top of the cake, a whole bunch of cupcakes, treats for all. And Trish went around wrangling kids and families to come over from the beach to join the pirates at the picnic. And of course, the pirate reenactors, the Port Royal Privateers, and East West Ronin Pirates were just fantastic. And Brad was a huge hit running a craft table. When our little board has its debriefing about the picnic specifically, I will be bringing up, I think crafts needs to be a huge focus. Oh, and to Diana, who read pirate stories to the wee ones over at a separate table, There's a lot we can improve on, but I think we've really laid the groundwork with some fun stuff that we'll want to continue and add to and emphasize and embellish and all that stuff. Amplify. That's the word I'm looking for. Amplify. And I'll look forward to next year being even better. But for now, we've got stuff on the website. We have things we can show about how the thing actually works. So grateful to you all. I look forward to having a snoring bulldog to do this podcast with next month. I was told when I got Mr. Beebe he needed 2 months just with me, and then we could get a dog, and the dog rescue place knows that. So right after the patron appreciation party, when I can really devote some time and energy to a new little friend here at the home. And a home doesn't have to be huge, I'm finding. It just has to be where critters feel loved and cared for. And since I work from home, and since I will always be in the same room with them, they are bound to feel that they are socializing and getting to know each other. So although Mr. Beebe and the new bulldog, unfortunately, will probably never get to be out at the same time, getting an older dog, we don't know what they've learned over the years, and I just can't take a chance because just one bite, one clamping down of jaws would be the end of Mr. Beebe. And as it stands, he and I are going to be together for a long time since I got him as a baby. He will be outliving a lot of the bulldogs because the bulldogs will be coming to us in their senior years. Can't let anything happen to Mr. Beebe, so we're going to have separate play times for the babies. Okay, everyone, hope you've been having a wonderful summer so far. Cheriste som, tuta.